Godspeed to the Speedy Tribe. Let me tell you about a kid named Reggie. Now, Reggie was born in a poverty-stricken area. Little to no resources to get by. His parents were both crackheads. They both ran the streets. They both dealt with abandonment issues as kids as well. They just found each other in the hood to have a baby inside of the hood, along with other babies too. Reggie was the youngest of 5 siblings. Now Reggie, being that he was the baby, he was sought after the most only because he is the baby. His older sister followed in the footsteps of the mom, which she adored the most. The mom, in turn, dealt with abandonment issues growing up, so it turned her into seeking validation on the outer skirts from other people, from the streets, which in turn led her to become a drug addicted mother, and at certain points she abandoned her kids to go chase that high again. After she chased that high, she would come back, but she would leave again. Now about the father abandoned him, left without a care in the world. So you can see already, there's a cycle going on stemming from the parents. Reggie's taking the brunt of that. Reggie then grows up to be a little delayed in a lot of things only because he didn't have the adequate tools to get him forward, which in turn led him into having self-esteem issues about himself. Am I good enough? Do they care about me? Which in turn turned into anger, which then in turn ultimately turned into resentment and a lot of other things regarding the bad realm. Reggie would grow up, he would fight everybody because he was angry because of the fact that he was abandoned and he didn't have no guidance. So because he didn't have any guidance, he fed that flame that he didn't have any. Even when guidance tried to show itself at the door, he wouldn't allow it only because he had to put this mask on due to the fact that he was hurt inside. Reggie then grows up, 13 years old, He found marijuana. Now, marijuana can be a gateway or it could keep you sane. He smokes marijuana to get by, to deal with his inner demons and deal with the inner being that he does not like. He does not want to face that. Now Reggie thinks he knows it all only because of the fact that he built his own character for himself to live up to, which in turn can be an ultimate compromising situation only because Reggie's only 13. Now going forward, Reggie's in the streets. Reggie meets a young lady at the age of 16. Reggie indulges into sexual intercourse with the young lady, of course, knocks her up, gets her pregnant, only knew her for 2 months. Now Reggie then finds himself in the hardest situation ever because he doesn't even know about himself. How is he going to know about a child? How does he even know how to fend for the child? How does he even know how to even protect a woman? He never seen his father take care of him. He never seen his father take care of the family or his wife. How does he know all these things? Where is he going to learn it from? So then in turn, Reggie then has the child, Reggie Jr. Now Reggie, being that he is indulging in the streets, selling, using, the same thing his parents did, Reggie finds himself at a disposition where he cannot even fend for himself or his son. So Reggie walks out. Now the mom, being that she has to take the brunt of that, she doesn't know how to cope with her stress, the fact that Reggie Sr. has walked out on her and the kids. That is a tough pill to swallow. The mom then turns to weed as well. Now you have 2 parents not knowing how to deal with life, and in turn, they abandon another form of life, which is the child. Reggie Jr. has the brunt of that now. Reggie then grows up and sees that his parents are both abandoning him because they're still coping with things that they had to cope with. Reggie Jr. starts growing up. Reggie sees that, wow, both of my parents did the same thing that my grandparents did. He has no other alternative but to turn to that. But see, Reggie Jr. had a gift. The gift was this: determination, mental capacity, mental fortitude, and the receptiveness of information that was given to him. Reggie Jr. got into sports. And in sports, he found the number one thing that Reggie Sr., the mother, his grandfather, and his grandmother did not have. And that's a refined character. They didn't know about anything about characteristic or traits and how to develop those. Reggie Jr. said, no, I have something special here. I have the potential to break a cycle that has never been broken in this family. This family has been going through hell and abandonment and hurt and suffering and pain this entire time, and I'm going to be the one to even crack it. I'm going to be the one to crack it. Reggie Jr. then embarks on his mission. He sees everything different. He doesn't see the things that his father and mother saw. He doesn't see the things that his grandparents saw. He sees different, a different light. There's a slither of hope and belief within the system of Reggie Jr. that his parents or his grandparents did not have. He meets great people on the football team. He gets a newfound perspective on people and life itself, something that his parents didn't do. He finds another family within the football team, a brotherhood, a father figure and a coach, a mother figure in the players and the coaches' wives and moms. He then finds the true meaning of what family is, which in turn inspires him to want to break the cycle even more. Reggie then goes to high school, plays varsity football, takes it up another notch, go to college, play college ball. Every barrier is being broken little by little because of Reggie's perseverance, Reggie Jr.'s perseverance. He then finds himself breaking cycles. It might have been strenuous for Reggie Jr., but Reggie Jr. knew he had one job and one job only: alter the DNA, break the cycle. Next thing you know, Reggie turns 25, 26. He meets a young lady, right? He gets to know her inside out. He's proceeding with caution because he knows that his father didn't proceed with caution. He knows that his grandfather didn't proceed with caution, which in turn led into family turmoil, bad habits, a lot of plagued things that hurt the family structure. Reggie said, no, I will not make that mistake again. He learned his wife, he learned his queen inside out. He told her, I'm going to break a cycle, I'm going to alter my DNA. And she had no other alternative but to follow the leader. Reggie Jr. says, it's time for us to build. It's time for us to break. It's time for us to alter. She agreed, in which they did. They had another child. Reggie Jr. gets into entrepreneurship, builds himself a real lucrative business, becomes a successful man due to the fact that he took the time out to alter his DNA, which ultimately led to him building a new form of DNA, which is his son, Reggie III. Reggie inherited those traits and characteristics through Reggie Jr. Now they are going to enjoy the fruits of their labor. No more suffering, no more pain. And it all came from Reggie Jr. altering the DNA. He understood, he understood, he overstood the power of altering the DNA and breaking cycles. So my question to you out there: The cycle was there for you to break. But how strong are you to break it?